Rain lashed against the windshield. Headlights cut through the thick darkness, illuminating an empty highway. Wheel. He was late, far later than he planned. His GPS had died miles back, leaving him lost on this desolate back road. Every turn led to more darkness, more towering trees that seemed to reach for the car. The sign for John, a feeling he couldn't shake. He glanced at the old worn map beside him, its faded sank. He was nowhere near his destination. Just as desperation began to set in, two flickering gaslights like eyes peering through for John. A house, finally. Crunching beneath the tires. The gaslights cast in mansion shrouded in shadows. It looked abandoned, windows dark and lifeless. John. The unsettling feeling was back, stronger now, but he had no other choice. He needed a phone, directions, anything. Taking a deep breath, he stepped out into the cold, damp night. The wind howled through the trees, their branches swaying menacingly. The smell hung in the air like decaying flowers, feeling cold beneath his touch. Before he could knock, John froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He peered cautiously into the darkness, unable to shake the feeling that he was being watched. "Hello?" he called out, his voice echoing through the silent house. Silence. The only sound was the wind whistling through the cracks in the walls. John took a tentative step inside, the floorboards groaning beneath his feet. The air inside was heavy, thick with dust and the lingering scent of decay. He made his way further into the house, each step sending shivers down his spine. Shadows danced on the walls, cast by the flickering glow of the gaslights. John could have sworn he heard whispers, faint and indistinct, coming from the walls themselves. He pushed open a door, revealing a grand yet dilapidated living room. A fireplace stood cold and empty, its once bright flames now reduced to ashes. Above the mantel hung a large ornate mirror, its surface covered in a thick layer of grime. As John stepped closer, he caught a glimpse of movement in the reflection, a fleeting shadow, gone as quickly as it appeared. Section 4, The Attic's Secret. Unease turned, his heart racing, but the room was empty. He was alone, or was he? The whispers seemed to grow louder, taunting him. He decided to leave, to get out of this house and never come back. As he turned to leave, it came from above, from the attic door at the end of the hallway. Curiosity mixed with a more The attic stairs creaked under his weight, each step taking him further into the darkness. The scratching grew louder, accompanied by a low, guttural growl that sent chills down his spine. John open, revealing a cramped, dusty attic. Cobwebs hung from every corner, and the air was thick with the smell of mildew and decay. The scratching had stopped, replaced by an eerie silence that was somehow more unnerving. Section 5. Mirror, Mirror. John scanned the room, his eyes adjusting to the dim light filtering through a small, grimy window. Boxes were piled high against the walls, their contents hidden in the shadows. And then he saw it. In the far corner, partially obscured by a tattered sheet, stood a full-length mirror. It was identical to the one in the living room, ornate and covered in grime. But this mirror was different. It seemed to pulsate, its surface rippling like water. He couldn't resist its pull. John cautiously approached the mirror, each step hesitant and filled with dread. As he drew closer, the reflection within the mirror began to change, revealing not his own reflection, but the image of a young woman. She was beautiful, with long flowing hair and piercing blue eyes, but her face was contorted in a silent scream, her eyes wide with terror. She reached out from the mirror, her hand pale and ghostly as if trying to claw. Section 6. Trapped. John stumbled back in horror, tripping over a loose floorboard and falling to the dusty attic floor. When he looked back, the mirror was empty. He scrambled to his feet and fled the attic. The image of the screaming woman seared into his mind. He raced through the house, no longer caring about the whispers or the shadows. He burst out of the front door and into the night, the cool air stinging his lungs. As he fumbled with his keys, he glanced back at the house. And in the upstairs window, John could have sworn he saw a figure standing. John quickly got into his car and sped away into the night. The image of the woman in the mirror forever burned into his memory.